Hello, my name is Garrett Foster, and today I'm going to be presenting a Tesla strategic plan. Um, so first and foremost, the automotive industry has seen rapid improvements and improvements in technology and the way cars run, over time. And that's an example right here. I just wanted to show the improvements that we see. So we started with the Model T, and then we went to the Mustang and muscle cars, and now we're starting to see fully electronic vehicles. The technology has really surpassed anything that anybody could ever imagine. However, with the improvements in automobiles, something that has decreased is the health of our Earth and our surroundings, and these pictures show that greatly. We have ice caps melting, we have rivers drying up, and water levels rising. It's something that Tesla has taken to heart, and they hope to change that. And I hope through this presentation I show the real opportunities and the future of where Tesla can go. Um, so I want to just start off and talk a little bit and just share a couple little facts about Tesla. It was founded in 2003 in San Carlos, California. It was just a small tech startup in the valley that has grown to exponential heights that nobody anticipated. It is in the automotive industry, but currently they're branching out. They purchased Solar City, and uh, they're developing solar panels for homes and batteries for homes. Um, their CEO is Elon Musk, a great entrepreneur that we'll talk about further in the presentation. Their first initial public offering was in 2010, and their ticker symbol is TSLA. And one of the most important and newest facts about Tesla is just this year they were rated the most valuable automaker in the United States, which is absolutely huge when you're going up against the likes of General Motors and Ford. So that's really big. Um, so Tesla has a very simple mission statement, and that is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Like I mentioned, through one car at a time, they're looking at removing the carbon footprint that our automotive industry is putting on our current Earth, and now they're getting into homes and things of that nature, where they're giving us the opportunity to really start to take away our carbon footprint and start to improve uh, the way we live and what we're capable of. And through that, they have some pretty lofty goals, and three goals that come into mind the most are they want a full range of zero emission vehicles. So this means trucks and buses and SUVs and trains. Like they want to be able to completely revolutionize and improve the public transportation system. Interconnectivity, so you can, while you're at work, your house has Tesla solar panels on top, and it's so when you get home from work, it's charging your car, and lastly, fully autonomous vehicles, which they're right on the foresight of having, and the goal is by 2020 to have absolutely fully autonomous vehicles where you could be at work and your car could be out driving for Uber, making you extra cash flow on the side, which is absolutely exceptional. Um, and with that, let's talk about the big three. And I'm not talking about GM, Ford, and Chrysler. I'm talking about the three people that are atop of Tesla, that are really responsible for getting shareholders and investors and us on board for what Tesla plans and has available for the future. So first and foremost is Elon Musk, the CEO, one of the brightest minds in the entire world. He's really revolutionizing not just the automotive industry, but the way we think and conceptualize life. He's just produced the fastest travel to space. He's looking at developing tunnel systems that would improve the overcrowding of our public transportation systems. So absolutely a genius mind that often is looked at as crazy, and time again is defying odds and just showing what the human race is really capable of. Secondly is JB Straubel. He's the CTO, one of the smartest CTOs out there. He was a co-founder of an aerospace engineering company and has over 15 years of experience being a CTO. And he brings all that wealth of knowledge, to Tesla. And then lastly, Deepak Ahuja. Uh, he's been in the automotive industry for 20 plus years, being a CFO. He previously worked for Ford, and with these three working in conjunction, there's not much that Tesla can't accomplish. However, it is those three's responsibility to be able to handle the macro threats and opportunities, that do exist out there. First, I would like to, touch on the threats, and whether you believe it in President Trump's policies or not, he's a strong component that global warming is fake, and that he wants to completely flip up uh, the environmental protection agencies, and he thinks we're wasting money. Um, and what that means for Tesla is they can lose their government subsidies and the tax breaks and the different, various things that Tesla was built on, and allowed them to produce vehicles when the cash flow wasn't, steadily coming in. However, with threats, there are some great opportunities for Tesla. First and foremost is new demographics and target markets. So Tesla was unveiled in a three-phase system. Phase one being only available for the most elite. Phase two, still a really high price tag on their vehicles, but was allowing more people to purchase vehicles. And by the success of phase one and phase two, it has actually given the company the capital to produce a vehicle that is still expensive to some at $30,000, um, but is able to be mass produced for a greater amount of people. Tesla originally had goals of by 2020 producing 500,000 cars, so 500,000 cars. Currently, with the Model 3 coming out, they're already at 400 plus thousand reservations for that car, and now by 2020, their goal is actually increased to 1 million cars. And so that just shows you the amount of people that they're able to reach out that they never had before. They have the technology. They're so far ahead of other companies, not only in safety but sound system, acceleration. They're able to produce a vehicle with zero emissions that doesn't make a customer sacrifice. So they want the power, the torque, the autonomous driving. They have all the technology that is producing. And today's a tech-driven world, and people want the latest technology. And Tesla, surpasses all other automakers in that department. And it's a true opportunity to increase and take over the market. And then social awareness. Something that's really telling is 7 in 10 American adults believe that global warming is something that is true and that something needs to happen. Well, Tesla is providing us the opportunity to give back and to reduce our carbon footprint, with their vehicles and their technology. But with the macro threats and opportunities also comes the industry threats and opportunities. So some of the threats that they're facing in the industry is they're at a cost disadvantage because the subsidies and the other things that Tesla's receive from the government. When they sell their vehicles, they don't get to sell it at cost like General Motors or a Toyota or a Ford can. So for example, if a car is $30,000, Tesla might only be able to sell that car for $25,000, whereas GM can sell that same exact car at cost at $30,000. So they're already at a cost disadvantage. Overhead cost. Tesla is, just on the up and coming, and they have, two factories to produce, all the vehicles, and it's causing them to outlet to other companies and go into partnerships that's, has greater overhead costs, whereas Toyota and Ford and GM have factories not only all over America but all over the world that allows them to produce their vehicles much cheaper than Tesla. And currently, a threat is gasoline prices are so low right now that it doesn't give people that incentive to go out and go electric, because the amount of money that they're going to spend on a new vehicle and the technology to get installed in their homes isn't really cost effective to many people in today's day and age. However, there's tremendous opportunities. The electric car spike. So currently, right now, the electric car industry is growing at a rate 10 times faster than the regular automotive gasoline industry. Now, it is only a fraction of that industry, but to know that it's growing 10 times faster shows promise for the future of Tesla. the interconnectivity, as I mentioned before, being able to drive home and your house was able to store energy throughout the day, that when you park your car in the garage, it starts charging your car. Um, you have autonomous capability, which just adds on to the interconnectivity. You go home, you park your car in the garage, your car's charged, you wake up in the morning, you drive to work, you're at work, your car goes out and starts driving people around as an Uber driver. You have all this interconnectivity and this autonomous capability that allows you to have a extra flow of income. You're saving money on gasoline. And then nextly, they have they have the opportunity to start producing trucks and vans and buses and things that will absolutely revolutionize the entire industry. And then they have the superior technology. They got a 5.3 out of 5 on the safety test out there. They have a fully 17-inch touchscreen on the inside of the car. Um, they have autonomous driving like no other car experiences. So they have the technology to bring in new customers, and it's really only on the cusp of what they can accomplish. And then that lastly leads to the strengths and weaknesses of Tesla. Some of their weaknesses are their manufacturing limitations. So, like I mentioned, they have two factories. Currently, they're in the process of building one of the most gigantic um, factories in the entire country, almost in the entire world. It's their Gigafactory in Nevada, but however, it's not fully up and operational. So until 2020, when it's expected to be 100%, they don't have the ability to keep up with the demand that is coming, for their cars. So they have 400,000 requests, and there's some belief that they might not be able to get the cars out in time because they just don't have the manufacturing. And then cash flow, because they come out in a phase system, they don't have a lot of surplus cash. So phase one funded phase two funding phase three. So it's like they don't really have a lot of extra cash flow. And as I mentioned, the explosion in demand can look like a positive, but as it stands right now, without their Gigafactory up and completely running, there's it's time will tell if they'll be able to handle the increase in demand. However, they have great strengths. As I mentioned before, the big three with Elon Musk and Strabel and Deepak, they have the ability to think ahead and move past the competition. They have the technology, they have the safety, the power, the torque, uh, everything. They can travel 300 miles on a charge. They have the technology to bring them above and beyond the competition. Not only do they understand energy and solar, but they have a complete grasp on the breadth and depth of it. They understand how much power that the sun has and the amount of ability that we can use with electric power. And that's creating value, and that's proven by them just becoming the most valuable car industry in America. And then lastly, it's just the differentiation. People are always looking to differentiate from the competition, and Tesla's doing that through their superior technology and the ability to produce zero emission vehicles and build social awareness and things of that nature. So through that, like, what's next? And there's three key objectives that Tesla wants to obtain. Number one is increased demand, which they're obviously currently doing, with over 400,000 pre-orders for the Model 3. That's just the cusp of what is possible. Build brand awareness. They don't spend money on marketing and advertising like Toyota or Ford will do. They have billion-dollar marketing campaigns. Tesla doesn't do that. What's actually really interesting is based off I believe it was a fourth grader's idea. They're actually holding a competition where fans and people loyal to Tesla are making free commercials for Tesla, and Tesla's holding a competition where the best ads will air for them. They are trying to build their brand awareness. And lastly is mass produced. So they got to get the Gigafactory up, working at 100%, and start being able to catch up with the demand that's going in. And by 2020, hopefully hit that 1 million car marker. Because in 2016 they only produced 80,000 vehicles. So to go from 80,000 vehicles in 2016 to 4 years later producing a million vehicles. That's a tall task to achieve. And there's one thing that's really limiting and is causing an issue for Tesla, and that's their battery technology. And although their battery technology is greater than it's ever been, it's lighter, it can be put in a car, it can be recharged, the battery lasts longer, it's still not practical for, every American. If you're going on a road trip with your family and you're in a gasoline vehicle, you might get 300 miles to the gallon. You can stop at a gas station in less than 5 minutes. You're filled up and you're ready to go. A Tesla can bring you 400 miles, but the problem with that is if you need to charge your car, you first have to find a location where you can charge your car, and then you have to put 30 minutes at a supercharger to charge your car. So they do need to improve that battery technology. So a recommendation that I have on what they can do to move forward and to really get that transition to sustainable energy is I have unveiled phase 4 of what Tesla needs to do. And in that phase, no longer is it worrying about what next automobile they're going to unveil. It's more about getting first the Gigafactory up and running. If they can get the Gigafactory up and running, they'll have the ability to produce the batteries and the parts that they need to fulfill a million car orders in a year. And secondly is invest in their battery technology. So with 400,000 people, pre-ordering the Model 3, now they have a SUV, they have a sedan, and now they have an affordable car for the everyday American. So if they can take those proceeds and instead of phase 4, working on a truck or the next SUV or a van, use that money to get their factory up and running, and then use the rest of the money for research and development on their battery. Because if they can increase the amount of miles that a car can travel with their battery and reduce the amount of time that it takes to charge that battery, there's no reason that the gasoline automobile industry would be more vital than the electric car industry. A family would be able to travel the 400 miles, hop out of their car, charge the battery for 10 minutes, and then be back on the road. Currently, Tesla is in the works of working on a revamped battery with Panasonic that will have the capabilities of traveling a larger distance, but they are still working on the ability to charge that battery much faster. So if they put their research and development and their time and effort into these two phases, there's nothing that Tesla can't achieve. And lastly, I would like just to leave you with a quote that the CEO, Elon Musk, said, and that's when Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, nah, what's wrong with a horse? That was a huge bet he made, and it worked. And pretty much what this is saying is if you're not willing to take the risk and to go above and beyond and rethink what's possible, we're never going to change. And just as Henry Ford, produced a vehicle and absolutely revolutionized the automobile industry, if we don't have people and companies like Tesla that are willing to say no, like something needs to change, we need to protect our environment, we need to build a sustainable future, not only for ourselves but for generations to come, it's never going to happen. Tesla is absolutely proving that what is capable, from humans, and I believe that through their strengths and their opportunities, not only on an industry level but on a global level, they really have the ability and the resources to change what is possible. Thank you. Have a great day.